Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the third game for today on FSL Thailand qualifiers. We had two very explosive, well, one-sided matches too as well. And now we are in our third match for today. We're going to watch Opononi on the red side go up against the Lannisters on the blue.
Alright.
And Opononi so far has been super dominant. I'm surprised to see that we are in the pick and ban. Ari is still open.
They're still open. It seems both teams seem to be pinching the top lane pool here. Kled banned out along with Renekton and Aatrox.
I think at this point, you have to ban the Ari. It's a respect ban, you have to give it over, but instead they're going to last ban the Pyke. They are first pick though, so they could opt to take the Ari for themselves. That's something you can do on the blue side, but there you go, Ari ban, because they don't want to give it over the first pick to the ladies from Lannisters.
Let's see what the first pick is going to be. The top lane pinch so tightly, I think they might actually want to prioritize a little bit before they get into the second round of draft.
Yeah, you can open pick, something safe on the blue side. You can go for something like Jace or Cannon. Yeah. Basically, these champions are okay extending past the river on blue.
Silver.
Yeah, Silver instead. It's a very safe AD carry, but this early on is kind of dangerous. I don't like when teams show early Silver pickup without considering what the rest of the pool is left. Like right now, there are still options where the opponents can do Kai'Sa Knowledge, they can do Kai'Sa. Even not just only Kai'Sa, right? You can do Zyra Khan, still defeats the Silver pretty well.
We do see the cannon coming in open from the other side though. You said you didn't really like this because it could get ganked.
Yeah, so if you're playing this cannon into a melee matchup, chances are your wave is always going to be pushed up because you're taking trades and your minions are going to be countering their minions, right? So in the grand scheme of things, you will be pushing up if you play this into a melee matchup. And once you extend past the river, it's very easy for the enemy to come in and gank you through Tribush or through the river. And Cannon's escape is granted decent, but it is not an instantaneous thing. You can't blink out, you can't jump away, you can't flash out. So you really do have some windows of weakness when you extend past the river.
I want to talk a little bit about Nunu, but we do see Silver and Yuumi currently be covered, which is very strong lane internationally, but we haven't seen them being played to much success here in SEA. Domestically. So
I think this is a very weak lane when it comes to open picking it. Sure, it's strong when it comes to pushing, right? But there are so many things that can deal with this. We saw last week at the Campus Legends where I think they played Lucian Yuumi. The instant counter pick was Draven Leon. And that was super dangerous. There are still options that do the same thing. You can do Zyra Khan, Draven Leona here to all in on the Silver Yuumi and punish her, because when you do have Yuumi, the bot lane is just one body, just one champion. It's so dangerous. You can't mitigate that all-in potential of the enemy.
I much prefer if we actually did see that Zyra Khan, because it's been Zyra deals a lot of damage at this moment. So if you actually try to prioritize that lane, I think you can play it with a lot more success than something like Silver Yuumi.
Yeah, not just that, but with the opponents going for the Varus now, man, I don't know. In the previous game, the Varus was decent in terms of making picks, and it does appear to be a comfort champion. I would have preferred that they go for something that does deal with the Silver Yuumi in lane better. Moving into the second round of bans, we see Sejuani and Jarvan is banned as well, so there are very few sort of tier 1 junglers that can go up against the Sylas in the jungle right now.
Well, I mean, if you're going for the Nunu already,
of course.
You don't really have... It's not exactly considered one of the strongest jungle picks at the moment, so I think you take away the tier picks, you're actually making the field a little easier for you to play later on in the game.
The reason I think they're pinching out the jungle pool though is that they do want to force the Sylas into the jungle, and maybe that's something they think might work decently in terms of matchups. Last ban here is going to be Orianna, so not just hyper-focusing the jungle, but spreading out the love down into the mid lane as well.
Obviously, you did bring up the Sylas. I think we have seen Sylas top, mid, and jungle, so definitely a triple threat. triple flex threat at the moment. We do have to see where they decide to go. Like you said, they might actually put him in the jungle because the jungle champion is pushed so hard.
Alright, okay, so we used the last ban here. Interesting coming in. I want to point out that the Pyke Morgana ban is pretty good coming in, because you want you want to pinch out champions that can protect the Varus but can also poke you back, right? If they do Varus Tahm Varus Braum, they actually lose their matchup pretty hard, because Silver Yuumi is so lane dominant at level 1 against melee champions or melee supports. In this case, the Karma might just be a flex, but also a Varus Karma bot lane that can sort of absorb the poke coming in and dish out their own as well.
Karma definitely, like you said, can protect the Varus as well as send poke to the enemy team. But we have seen Karma top. I don't think he's going to be top this time. Can actually go to the mid lane as well. We've seen Rise earlier today as well, not very successful, but It takes way too much. It takes way too long to get going in this current meta where we like to skirmish a lot.
Now what they do need though to finish up this composition is they need a top laner that is sort of a true tank. When I say true tank, someone that can soak damage, because you're effectively fighting with 4 bodies for most of the team fights, because Yumi is going to be attached, right? Silas won't build tanky. He will build Zhonya's maybe to mitigate death, but oh man, okay, going for the Corki, I think maybe a bad choice should be a mid lane, or excuse me, top lane Corki coming in. Maybe even a top lane Rise. So there is the flex potential, but still no tank on the board is what I'm saying.
A little bit questionable. I think, yeah, you are correct. I think bringing in a tank right now would have been optimal play. Instead, they opt for the Corki, and paired with the Rise, that's gonna take a lot. That's gonna take a lot of time to get going.
There's too much magic damage on their side as well, so it's super easy to optimize against their composition right now, because all you have to do is build Merc Threads into some form of magic resist, right? And then you can do with Corki in the side lane, you can do with Rise, and you can do with the poke from Yumi. So the only person that is effectively damaging you is going to be Sivir. And even then, her damage doesn't scale until she hits 2 or 3 items. You know, 1 item Sivir is not big. 2 item Sivir is okay. It's 3 item Sivir that you have to be careful of, and that's a long, long way away.
Basically, what we're trying to say here is Lannisters, they take way too long to get going, like I said. I think they need the time to scale up, and if Opononi know what they're doing, they do have the Nunu for the ganks. I think if they're able to punish it early, Lannisters aren't going to find the footing in this game.
I think against the Lannister composition, Nunu is actually kind of interesting here, because we don't see Nunu all too much. But the effective Nunus do know how to path such that they take a camp, gank a lane, and then take another camp and regank. So they're super efficient at the time if you're a good Nunu player, because you have so many tools and so many creative ways to clear the jungle that you can actually path very flexibly. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Oh, we see some invisible snowball bugs. That'll be fun.
Overall, the composition from the Opononi side as well doesn't really have much of a diversification in terms of damage. Cannon and Lux are both magic damage dealers, but they have the benefit of having this front line. You know, the Nunu is going to be very tanky later on, and if you don't get any sort of grievous wounds items, he's going to be sustaining through majority of the damage, and I would wager that this Nunu goes for Cinder into Spirit Visage to just soak damage, and then you go for Tab Ice after that to just make sure the Silver can't do anything to you. That would be how I built this Nunu, to be the stable front line.
We'll talk a bit about Lulu. I think we should. We haven't been giving attention over to the Lux, which we haven't seen a lot.
Oh yeah,
I don't think we've seen it actually at all.
Not to my knowledge. No, we haven't seen mid lane Lux all too much. Bot lane Lux has been played quite a bit, but mid lane is sort of one of those comfort. I'm good on champion, therefore I will play it. Picks.
Well, we've seen Nacha Adventure on the RE able to hit those skill shots on priority targets. Hopefully he's able to do the same on Lux. Shouldn't be that difficult. And if he's able to do that, he's going to pump a lot of damage into the enemy team.
But you see the similarities in their composition compared to the previous one, right? So mid lane and AD have this secondary win condition of making picks. And then you have Cannon and Nunu to sort of function as counter engage. The previous game, it was a Gnar. This time it's the Cannon. And similar in the jungle as well, you know, Nunu and Jarvan in the previous game both have strong area denial abilities, right? Skills that force the enemy to disengage and not stay in the area. So I can see what this team likes to do. There's a cohesive sort of drafting strategy that they like to move along with, and this to me is a good sign. If a team knows what their identity is and knows how to draft to their strengths, it's always an indicator that they're going to go far.
We won't be seeing the team fight versus team fight composition again, though.
Of course, yeah.
If we take a look over at Lannister side, I think they want to play, you know, maybe the 1-4, even 1-3-1. You have the Rise, you have the Civic, can sit in side lanes and try to just push up the waves consistently. And so if it does come down to team fighting, we definitely have to give the advantage over the Opononi.
Yeah, for sure. I think this, like you mentioned, 1-4, 1-3-1 is the ideal way to play this one out, but having that sort of, you know, mentality of going 1-4 or 1-3-1, the caveat is that you have to come out of lane ahead. You cannot come out of the lane behind and expect to survive in the side lane. You'll just be soaking EXP and waves, but you won't be able to sort of enforce any pressure, right? So when it comes to the Silas, where she pays her attention to is going to be super crucial in this matchup.
Definitely. You have to get your lanes ahead. Like we were harping on earlier, Rise, Corki, and Sivir, they take ages to get online. Only if Silas goes in there for the ganks and is successful can we see them execute the 1-4 or the 1-3-1 effectively.
Because the state of the game now is such that if you get a kill, it's not only, you know, bonus goal. in the form of the bounty, but you also open up waves, you open up turret plates, and this early sort of economic bonus growth when you're playing scaling compositions like this is super crucial to getting to a point where you can say, okay, we'll play 1-3-1, we're comfortable just clearing the waves and letting our side lanes push in, and then, you know, force the pressure like that. Right now we are getting word that the Lannister ladies are going through some technical issues on their end. So I think it's something to do with the Lion Shop having a bit of a technical problem. I know you're resisting the urge to make a joke about not paying their debts, therefore.
No, I'm not. You are. Don't blame it on me, my friend.
Right.
I mean, this is like what the second time we've been casting together where a Land Shop has gone through a power outage.
You are right. You're exactly right. Yeah.
60-minute game again? Yes, no, maybe.
That was the FSL Vietnam qualifiers, right? Where I think one of the Land Shops was it?
I don't know. Hang on.
Vietnam.
It
must have been Vietnam, right?
It must have been probably. Yeah, that's the pause.
There you go. You can see a mass disconnect coming through, and hopefully the ladies on the Lannister side. Oh, you can't see it, but it's on our screen. We can see it.
You know.
Yeah, there's a mass disconnect coming through, so hopefully the Lannister ladies will be able to fix, or at least get the Land Shop to sort of troubleshoot their issues coming through. And we're talking a bit more about compositions, right? I just want to go back and add on to the idea that this is like a Silas dream composition to steal ultimates from. Like there's so many good ults you can steal, apart from the Karma, which is like meh, right? But overall, there's so many good things that you can take. Right, we're getting word from our production staff that hopefully this technical issue should be resolved soon. But for now, we will be going to a break because they have to do a sort of full reset on the power and maybe reset the power breakers and the what's it called? It's
the fuse?
Yes, the fuse. Thank you. Yeah. So we will be going for a short break. When we come back, hopefully the power has been reset and we can resume with our match. But for now, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alright, we are back into game. The PCs at the Land Shop have been resetted and now you're on Summoner's Rift. PogChamp, finally done. Oh my, is that a Monsters Incorporated skin?
I think it is.
Oh my god, that is the best. That's like some
monster.
Yeah, that is the best skin I've ever seen.
I love me some Nunu skins.
That is so creative. I love it. It's so good. It's like what's that? Sully, right? It's Sully and Boo.
Mike.
No, the tiny one is supposed to be Boo. I think, like the small girl.
Oh yeah,
Mike is like long and green.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Right. Anyway,
on the blue, we do have the Lannisters who have reconnected, and on the red is going to be Opononi, who are coming off a high after their earlier victory.
Both teams
Actually,
won, so.
for the most part, I would argue that Opononi did have the more dominant victory.
Alright, that's fair enough.
But to be fair, that was the game we streamed as well, so
slightly biased.
Slightly biased.
Well, honestly, Opononi has shown that they can end games pretty decisively.
Oh yeah.
And Lannisters, we actually haven't seen them play very much, so we're gonna see how that goes. But both teams, if they do fall behind, that's a real question mark because we haven't actually seen them play from behind just yet.
I'll tell you what though, both these teams have great taste in skins, like double Conqueror skins on the bot lane, and the mid lane is like the Corgi, which is my personal
Corgi is a
favorite skin. No bias because my friends have Corgi, so I'm like, you know.
Alright. Alright, I mean, I love his taunt. Or was it his dance?
yeah.
Shake his butt.
Right, both junglers here starting on the same side of the map. It's going to be blue take for the Nunu and red take for the Silas. No interesting Ice Destiny path coming in for the Silas here. So it's going to be pretty standard. Yeah. For those of you unaware, the Ice Destiny path is the one where he does wolves, raptors into Krugs and he just gets a level 3.
Funky.
Yeah. It's kind of odd, but it works for him sometimes. Right now, interesting here, the Nunu player is gonna go and hit to the Grom to pick up the second camp. We saw earlier that Lemon Sugar on the Jarvan did blue into wolves into red. This time it's gonna be a bot player into the top half transition.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen any junglers this tournament. I mean, well today anyway. Go for any sort of cheesy gank. So I think we're not gonna see much out of the ordinary to this game either, so
yeah,
I think they're just going for their farm.
It's also good to note that because both of these teams have a chance now if they win to qualify for the semi-finals, you kind of want to play it safe, play it measured, you know, let the opening moves of this game be a bit more tempered.
Yeah, for FSL Vietnam, we did actually see that games actually got slower and slower
as the day
progressed.
Even at the finals, the pace was so measured and calculated that the teams didn't want to take any unnecessary fights. Right now, it seems to be the case for FSL Thailand as well. Both junglers will hit level 3 here on the take of their respective buffs. As the first to the Scuttle Crab is gonna be the Silas here. As Nuno is like, well, I don't wanna contest that, I'm just gonna take another camp and possibly journey over to the bottom half.
Yep, that is a free Scuttle Crab at the moment. I don't think he's gonna be able to come down and contest this, but yeah, free.
Even if the Nuno decides to move over, the ward there will spot this early shenanigans. So it's going to be the top Scuttle Crab taken by the Silas. And this is what I mean by the cannon lane is always going to be shoving, right?
Yep.
Even in a range matchup, because you're looking to poke and consistently proc Kleptomancy, you will be extended past the river and therefore very easily ganked through the Tri-Brush or through the river.
Okay, only way you can mitigate that really is just by putting down those wards that are very crucial to their lane. Maybe even pull your jungler over to cover that side of the lane.
Which is why we saw Nuno just walking to the top side to ward it down, because there was a momentary window of weakness where if Silas came up, he could have ganked the cannon that was extending past the river. So Nuno being there to cover, relieve the pressure, makes it much easier for the cannon to bully and at least proc the Klepto on the top side against the Rise.
Yep, and we did see Silas puff up there. He absolutely could have gone in, but I think he just played that a little bit safer. Even though there wasn't a ward there, I think Cannon was already backing off, so he did not go for that gank.
I like that the early base from the Silas did grant her a Chilling Smite upgrade, so now the ganks are going to be more impactful, right? You have a bit more CC with the slow coming in now. Not to mention the Apprehend and Abscond. Abscond and Apprehend on the E.
Nuno walking into the enemy jungle isn't going to be finding much except for maybe a gank with his snowballs.
Oh, great Valkyrie away from the light binding there would have most certainly meant that the Corki would have died if the light binding connected. Meanwhile, the out of mana Lux is going to recall, so that gank in the mid lane is twofold, right? You try to make a gank happen, and if it doesn't, you shove the wave up and get your a free recall. Overall, Opononi looks like the team that understands the fundamentals of this team.
They're definitely a bit of an adventurous gank. We don't see any losses coming from Opononi, and in fact they do, like you say, get the free back.
Oh, instead she's gonna stay and clear the wave out, so I think a bit greedy there. You should have based on that timing. Instead now we'll be stuck dealing with this wave. You can see it's just being shoved in, and Corki will be the first one to recall here.
Nope, he's actually staying as well.
I think super greedy because this is the timing where you want to back and get a reset in, considering you're so low on mana and low on health. The Corki, as you can see, has used majority of, if not all, of the corrupting potion charges.
It's just a slippery slope of I'm not gonna back until you back, so we see both these laners just really facing off in the mid lane, neither really wanting to leave at the moment.
And meanwhile, the enemy Silas moving into the jungle right now is trying to get some vision down and clear the wards out. This is what you'd like to do as a more aggressive style jungler. You can go in and take the fights to Nuno because you do have the Conqueror, and worst case scenario, you spot out where the buffs have been cleared, and now you have timings. You have a window of knowledge of information where the enemy is going to be most likely.
Yep, not going to find a Nuno, so he's going to clear out this camp on his side.
Right. You can see the gank coming in the mid lane. Nuno charging up the snowball, but this is an out of mana Lux, and I don't think that she can really do anything here. Looks like the recalls are going to be coming in, and this is a pretty quiet mid lane so far.
Yep, and as Hungry takes a bit of a break to collect our food, I guess I'm going to be here alone. Not going to see much, I guess.
No,
I'm back. Welcome back.
Right, so now mid-wave pushing up, overall recalls coming in. This is what I meant, right? You need this window to pick up Lost Chapter, otherwise you're going to be permanently out of mana in the mid lane. Teleports coming in. On the top side is kind of iffy though, because you can see that the advantage is now in favor of the Rise, who does have the potential to impact the map on the top side.
Yeah, I'm not sure what actually happened there, since Cannon actually does have the push over Rise most of the time. So, must have seen a little bit of a unfortunate back timing.
Yeah, but even then also you can see the CS is heavily in favor of the Rise, so despite having the advantage like you said, maybe it's just proccing Klepto and taking the worst end of some of these trades.
Yep.
See, once again, mid lane gets the blue buff, and the second blue buff of the game. It's a very mid-centric composition, mid-centric style of play that Opononi likes to, execute here. And for the enemy, Silas here in the jungle is going to tag him with the light binding though, a good deal of damage down, but meanwhile the final spark gets stolen and hijacked away, turning the damage across, using the final spark to chunk her out, and here comes the Nuno. Gonna find the Corki in the jungle as they both back off. The hijack has been used to minimal effect right now, as no summer spells were blown on either side.
Yep, bit of a measured playstyle from both these teams. Like you said, I think Opononi has shown that they like to play the mid lane game, and since it's a style that works for them, I don't see any reason for them to change it. So credit to them for sticking with something that works.
Still fishing for these bindings once more, and you can see why the team likes to give the blue buff over so much to the mid lane of Opononi. Overall, the CS and gold you can see in the top side slightly in favor of the Rise despite Klepto on the cannon. Meanwhile, in the jungle, it's the Sylas with a big CS lead as well as a sizable gold lead.
Yeah, we did see Sylas was actually pretty happy going into the Nunu's jungle earlier to look for maybe even a fight, or if he's unable to find that, just take some camps, which has led to his advantage right now.
Oh, I like this, using the abscond to jump over the wall, and we'll find a Nunu here. Abduct is available, but instead the fight is going to be turned around. Level 6 to level 5, flashing forward for the Devouring. Here comes the cannon. Oh, great explosive. Oh, well, doesn't matter. Flashes over with the slicing maelstrom. Thought that Blast Cone was going to get him out of danger, but instead the follow-up flash was good enough for Comfy Roof to tag the Sylas out and pick up first blood.
Yeah, and that's the risk you run when you try to go for these sorts of fights in the enemy jungle, right? You run the risk of being collapsed on, and that's exactly what happened here. Of course, Cannon having to use the flash to get over the wall, but he does secure first blood.
Now, overall, this frees up the pressure and tempo in favor of the Nunu because, well, enemy jungle is around. I'm going to walk in and take the camps, and as Nunu does, it's going to be a very simple matter of getting it.
Yep, just revenge taking of the Grom, paying Sylas back for taking the Raptors earlier.
I have to be careful in the mid lane. The Nachas Adventures, Lux right now. Very low on health, still has the barrier, but doesn't want to overcommit. Remember that the big one is going to be the next rocket in, and it's not really going to find its target there. Oof, Phosphorus Bomb.
Very low, he should not be staying here.
Valkyrie's available. I think they're baiting this one out though. Here comes the gank, but the counter gank is set up so well. Here comes the Sylas, uses the abscond to knock the Nunu back and dissuade the snowball. And now they have to flee, they have to run away. Hijack is available, but he can't really steal the final spark just yet because the cooldown's still there. Couple seconds more might just be enough though. Still looking for this as they push up into the mid-tier 1, and recalling now is the Lux. She doesn't want to stay around, she's done with this. She doesn't want to have any part of this continued skirmish.
That was an okay bait, but luckily for the Corki, the Sylas was actually hiding behind the wall there out of vision and was able to mitigate that gank.
Even then also there was no way for the Lux to walk up because she was so low, and Sylas coming in, well, we have to give full credit to the jungler here for the Lannister. She's been at the right time in the right place multiple times, although sometimes a bit too adventurous, but still making sure that her lanes have been covered while still keeping ahead in terms of CS.
Yeah, with that kill though, I think we see the Cannon. Yes, Cannon actually pushing up the lane again against the Rise, able to find a bit more of a goal lead now. 3.7k opposed to 3.5k.
Now, the large reason for why Cannon can play so aggressively now, I think, is because with the kill did go the EXP, and now you can see Cannon's level 9 to level 8 of Rise, and also the fact that she did get a couple of good buy timings with the teleport in, whereas Rotate's Rise did have to hold on to the summer spell.
We did see Sylas actually get spotted out, actually moving up to his empty top side of the jungle, so I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to do. Maybe go for the Rift Herald since he's already cleared out his jungle. But mirroring on the other side of the map, Nunu is going towards that bot side.
So, like you mentioned, maybe Rift Herald is the next objective here, and both junglers are splitting the map. Right now, the strong side of the map for Lannisters is gonna be towards the mid, right? The mid top. Whereas the bottom lane of Opononi is very happy just farming, you know, scaling up as this Varus does.
One lane we haven't actually talked about all that much is the bot lane though, but we do see a gank in the mid lane, so I'll hold my point.
Oh, Light Binding not really catching the Corki though, but the snowball is gonna connect. But it's a momentary knockup, can't find the root either on the back of that, so it's gonna be a gank that is dissuaded, like I said. And meanwhile, Rift Herald being taken by the jungler of the Lannisters, he's gonna get spotted out because the control ward here is gonna get swept and picked out. This should signal to... Oh, hold on, very low. Be careful. Oh, had to smite it preemptively. Okay, so the heal coming in.
Rise to try to take it with him.
One more auto attack might just see this Sylas going down though, but right, pops the eye on the back, and the bonus damage is gonna give the Rift Herald over to the jungler of the Lannisters.
Looking a little sketchy there, but in the end they do manage to find the Rift Herald. On the other side of the map though, we see a lot of wards around the Ocean Dragon, actually maybe setting it up for Opononis to take it. As you can see right now, there's no vision for Lannisters to see if they do start it up, and Nunu actually does pulls it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just as you say that though, a control ward placed on the end of the dragon pit, so
And they see the dragon though.
not seeing the dragon there should signal to the ladies of Lannisters that, well, you know, someone's probably attempting the objective, but it's fine. We're okay giving away Ocean Dragon 13 minutes in. It's not that big of a power play for the enemy. We'd rather have Rift Herald. We can give them the objective for now.
Silas just seem very content to just go for the red buff right now. And he just secures it uncomfortably.
So turret plate's gonna fall in about 30 seconds, and there's gonna be very little value taken from a Rift Herald that's charging down for the plates. However, there is still the potential for them to make full use of the Rift Herald if they can find a decent skirmish and translate that into a empowered push coming in.
And the point I was trying to make earlier was, you know, the bot lane. I think if you have the Sivir, you have the Yuumi, you can actually utilize this Rift Herald to great effect if you do manage to push out that lane.
Right.
Of course, we know that Sivir does have that amazing wave here. Pushing up towards that tower shouldn't be that difficult.
Going to recall and buy now, looking for the Essence Reaver, I believe, and will be completed just in time. Meanwhile, her opponent AD carry has gotten the Blade of the Rain King. That's two decent power spikes in favor of the respective AD carries, with each core item being picked up. Meanwhile, on the top side, Protobelt done for the cannon, teleport available as well. We might see a very explosive fight in the bottom lane if it does look to be the Rift Herald used there.
It's been pretty quiet down there, so I don't really expect any much of a fight unless the junglers get involved.
Speaking of junglers, here comes the
ward
Silas
there.
storming up the river. We'll use the control ward to clean this one out. And counter ganking inside this tri-brush is the Nunu. He might get spotted out with the ward thrown across the wall, and there you go. Control ward will be used to clean it out, but they have full information of where each jungler is.
I see both these junglers are actually pretty content just playing towards the top side of the map. They're playing around top and mid trying to find advantages there, so bot lane's just gonna be a snooze fest for a little bit more.
But in this lull state, I feel like I have to give the advantage over to the ladies of the Lannisters, because right now, their competition with double AD carry, Corki, Sivir, as well as Arise, they're all looking to scale up. They all don't mind taking this to the late game stage. So in this lull state, you have to favor the blue team a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. If they do get in the late game, I think Lannisters do have the damage advantage, but if you're on the side of Opononi, you just have to get that Varus ahead, and hopefully he can start chunking out tons of damage as well.
Yeah, because Varus in the late game stages, this approach, you know, a bit of a turret style of fight as a Lucent Singularity will be used, but will not find anyone. Meanwhile, Valkyrie forward from Kirsty's Corki to kind of get some space built. Bot laners here will, rather the support here will be spotted out by the Nunu, who's going to defend his control ward, and Yuumi alone can't really do anything to take away that ward.
Yep. That's the thing when you're playing Yuumi, you don't really have the ability to go out and look for wards. You really have to just stay stuck to your AD carry, make sure that that lane doesn't go awry.
You can see Silas revisiting a mid lane once more. Still has the Rift Herald, which is about to time out relatively soon, so he does need to use that.
It's not gonna be able to use it.
Relatively soon though, using the Abscon to jump away from the snowball. Meanwhile, juking across the wall is the Corki. And like you said, not enough space being having forced to use it nevertheless in the mid lane though, while the wave is pushing against them. This is a poor instance of Rift Herald utilization in the mid lane. It's gonna be walking up, and it will barely get off one charge, I believe, as it gets procced in the back end. This is very minimal damage to the turret. Sure, it chunks about for a third, but in the end, there's nothing much to be gained from that Rift Herald.
Here's the thing, with the time that he was able to go for the Rift Herald, I think she should have been setting up for the dragon. I think that was a greater objective at that time. Like, if you want to go for the Rift Herald, you should make sure that you have some avenue of effectively using it.
Right.
At the moment, Lannisters don't really have that avenue since most of the lanes are just chilling out. So
it felt as though, you know, they knew that the Nunu was going to take the Ocean Drake, so they're like, well, that's the only thing we can take in response right now. They're taking the objective for the objective's sake, to deny it away from the opponent. And we'll get spotted by Control Ward here, but yeah, the jungler of Lannister is not really looking too good right now. It's really failed to make an impact early on. Now, rising ahead in CS is this Nunu, 110 to 98 of the opponents. Lull state still in effect right now, as gold is more or less dead on even, 300 in favor of the blue team.
You do not want this dive, my friend.
Yeah, they might not want this dive as the Rufus is going to come in onto the cannon. Remember, this top tier 1 very, very low. Not a lot of resistances available for the cannon, so they might be looking to force this. Meanwhile, the snowball coming in. It's gone, and that is 450 gold. The bonus going the full way of the rise on the top side. The chip damage has been pretty substantial, eventually allowing them to pick up top tier 1.
One would think that maybe you could have used the Rift Heralds there, taking the tower slightly earlier. But hey, that's just me anyway.
Right now, though, with that very sizable objective take, it does propel them ahead in terms of gold. And we were talking about this in the pre-game. This is a composition that doesn't mind scaling. It's very content sitting back and farming, and majority of the gold from this, the gold that they have, the leads, are on the mid lane, on the top lane, and on the AD carry.
Alright, now take a look. Lannisters haven't actually invested that much effort into clearing the wards in the river, in the bottom side river, and now there's an Infernal Drake there, so they definitely have to start working on it, or maybe since Silas is there, they can actually just go for it immediately.
I haven't really seen the Corki use the package all too much lately. This is a sneaky Infernal Dragon that's trying to be stolen away. Eventually will get spotted out as the Nunu walks in and might have to abscond away from the wall. Now this is a tricky situation. Do you go back in? It's like she does want to as the Karma jukes in now to the Dragon Pit. This is a 2 for 1. Alright, having to flash out. Looking to kill the Silas instead, might just take the Dragon as they jump back in once more, and it's not going to be stolen away. Instead, it's going to be secured by the Saber. Meanwhile, a lot of damage as the Silas gets popped immediately. Yumi going to fall soon after now. The Corki is going to be the target as the Nunu fails to turn the corner on the Snowball. Great Valkyrie away to prevent Light Binding from connecting, but in the end of it, it's going to be the ladies from Opononi that take a big advantage there. Get the Infernal Dragon, get the kill. Oh, excuse me, the Silver was the one that got the Infernal Dragon, but do get the kill in the end.
That's a 2 for 1 plus Dragon. I believe Rise actually got a kill on the cannon on the top side.
Right. Overall, still looking pretty decent for Lannisters. And tell a lie, the Rise is still pushing on top tier 2. My goodness. Corki now doing her best to sort of defend against mid tier 1 pushes. Guess who's gonna claim top tier 1? Top tier 2. It's gonna be the Rise.
Actually,
Ooh.
What?
Final Spark clears the wave.
What?
Okay. She used that to clear the wave. It was value. It's a very low 49 health
49 health
turret.
on the turret.
If she didn't out the wave, it might have just gone down.
That's a bit of a tilter if you are the Rise. But I do find another tower somewhere else on the map. I believe that was the bottom lane tower.
Yeah, bot outer turret goes down as well. So it's sort of like a win-win, right? Either you get the top inner or the bottom outer. In this case, they're happy taking the bottom outer as well.
Yep, gold at the moment, still pretty even, about 1k gold between both teams, so that's not something you exactly have to worry about at the moment. If you're Lannister, you can sort of set up for that mid lane tower to begin to open up the map a little bit more.
Blue buff going to go the way of the Rise and rotate now with a massive gold lead over her counterpart. It's a 1.5k. Using the Realm Warp, looking to find a pick onto the Lux. He gets a flank down though, and here comes the Corki as well. The Nunu on the other side was enough to sort of dissuade that, but here we go. The damage down onto the Lux is so huge. He flashes forward, using the Absolute Zero to get some space down, but eventually they will find a kill on the Lux. Here comes the cannon. Slicing Maelstrom is not available just yet, as they might look to take down the Corki. The flash across, and the Slicing Maelstrom will get her, and now they're turning their attention over to the cannon, using the hijack now, leaving forward and trying their best to catch her. Falling projectile will slow her down, and the final chapter is just enough for them to get the kill on the cannon. So both teams overreaching. This could be Baron though.
Well, Kirsty jumping in for the kill was a little bit overzealous, but at the end of the day, Lannisters were the one who rotated first and managed to pick up the fight.
I'm looking for mid-tier 1. The outer is under siege now. A good amount of CC onto the Silver. The damage from the Varus is not enough. The Zoomies keep the Silver topped up. The defense is good though, as they still manage to clear the wave out, but a lot of summoner spells being blown right there.
Yeah, and now it forces Rise to come down so that they don't manage to take that mid tower, but we do see a fight.
Good amount of damage down. You can see the spell flux just spreading it all around. One more Q should be enough though, as they focus down the Nunu. A great stopwatch to buy space. Final spark off the back from the Lux dissuades them from pushing further even more, but here comes the Corki with the package. This could be so deadly if they don't expect this. She was seen clearing out the control of a bit. Somehow they managed to pick up the Silas off the back.
Just a very messy fight all around. We haven't seen the action stop ever since that first engage from the Corki flashing in.
Now they got a massive wave pushing in, a great spell shoot to negate the light binding coming in. Here comes the Rise pushing up. Finally managed to siege down the mid-outer turret after so much struggle. 3 to 5 is the kill score, and the gold, like you mentioned, still close to even. 800 is the difference.
it's actually even, the difference is actually even smaller than before that fight started. So we haven't actually seen either team really pick up an advantage here.
It's still a tug of war back and forth, but a lot of the goal on the side of Lannister is still in the right place. It's on the Rise, who is a great side laner right now. It's on the Corki as well, who is holding on to the package. Still, was forced to use it there to pick up the Scuttle Crab. Of course, it did time out. Oop, light binding, almost, very close. Lucent Singularity will be used to zone away from that area, but eventually Control War is going to fall. Right now, they'll rotate. You can see she's playing so aggressively, so far forward, using the Realm Warp to kind of dodge out of this sticky situation. There's 3 members there, so she didn't want to stick around.
At the moment, if the Lannisters really just want to go for that mid lane tower, like I said, you want to open up the map, you want to take that objective as soon as you can. But instead, we go for a fight.
Going for a fight onto the Silas. The Abscon manages to jump away, but here comes the Absolute Zero. Silver's on the back, dealing the damage, but the damage is enough to take down the Silas. A final spark to the face. And they get the kill on the jungle. Great snowball usage there from Lemon Sugar.
Yeah, good drift to catch out the Silas. That's not exactly what you want to do, as you want to take that mid lane turret, you don't want to lose any members when you try to do so.
Sometimes it's going for a flank onto the cannon. The action never stopping this game. Comfy Roof overextended past the river. This is a situation the cannon doesn't want to find herself in. Lightning Rush to get away, trying to get the execute possibly? No, instead looking to turn the damage across with the Slicing Maelstrom, but a good stopwatch is going to keep her alive for a second longer. Here comes the Corki. Kill is going to go all the way over, and a shutdown with the bounty as well.
On the other side of the map, we do see them taking the dragon, but that was a good proactive flank coming in from the Rise, taking the blast over to the wall to secure the kill.
The trade objective for a kill, I think if you're Opononi, you'll be better with the Mountain Trick right now, because this Varus with Blade on the Rain King as well as the Green Suits next is gonna be a very adept machine at taking down the Baron as well as objectives. Resetting now, looking for the next set of buys coming in. Let's take stock of the situation. Gold still hasn't really grown all too much. It's still about 700 difference in favor of Lannister. Meanwhile, big items coming in favor of the Nunu. He's gone for the Gargoyle Stone Plate. First item rush. That's gonna hurt. That is gonna hurt, chunking down to half. The Kirsty's not looking too healthy as another binding sails across. The blue buff as well as the Luden's Echo is gonna bring the CDR that she has now up to 30%.
Yep. Gonna be very quick on the light bindings. Something you definitely have to watch out for.
Final Spark being used as well, and like you said, with the cooldown reduction that is at a relatively low 40-second cooldown at this point.
You can see it ticking down so quickly on the side of the screen at the moment.
Now, we did note that Rise had to use her teleport to the bot lane to repel the wave. So there's a small window where Cannon's teleport is going to come up first. But overall, there is no global access on the side of Lannisters just yet.
Yeah, Rise right now just pushing on the side. Not much to talk about here. I think he's just going to keep doing this and Cannon's just going to be sitting there trying to stop him.
But this is the 1-3-1 we expected from this composition when they made it to this point where they're far enough ahead that they can just clear the waves in the mid lane and not be afraid of being engaged upon. 2-item Silver isn't necessarily at her best power point, but it's still good enough that you can still ricochet the waves and thin them out.
Definitely, if you look for a team fight at the moment, I think both teams will actually favor a front to back.
Oh, smited away by the Nunu. They might be looking for this fight though as he flashes forward with the Absolute Zero, super aggressive. The rest of the team there to back her up. The ladies of the blue team will just back off. Lannisters don't want to have any part of this fight.
And that's Opononi understanding that if they allow this game to go later, they are actually just going to be on a losing end, since Lannister does in fact have the scaling. So they are looking for these fights, maybe a little too desperate for their own good.
Our root is going to connect onto the Silas, and their Power Mantra Q comes through as well, flashing away from the Final Spark. Not enough, as the Devourer and the Consume rather is going to finish off the Silas. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, the bot inner turret will fall. The split push from Rotates. Rise has been pretty strong this game as the Baron is the desperation call from the ladies of Opononi.
Rotate doesn't have TP, he's forced to stay at the bot lane and push it up.
What is the play right now? Because there are multiple members on this Baron, and I think Lannisters are privy to this. They know that the Baron's being taken. It's down to 4,000 health. Can they do anything to steal this? Trying their best to contend on the hunt has been used. It's down to 1,300. The smite coming through is going to be enough to secure it. And what were we expecting? It's going to be a Nunu that takes it. The Consume is more than enough to secure the objective, and now they back off and rotate back.
Speaking about rotate, he
what a segue!
He is manning. Oh man, already calmed down. he's managed to be
Yeah.
pushed away by the cannon, so that is actually a huge advantage over to Opononi, since Rise wasn't actually able to find anything in the bot lane.
Yeah, Opononi getting the Baron is huge because this sort of mitigates the 1-3-1 power, right? No matter how strong you are, if I have Baron buff minions, it makes it much more difficult for you to push in onto me.
So now, what's the play for Lannister? I think if you're on the blue side here, you actually just want to look for a bit of a fight, I guess. I think you have begun to hit those crucial points in the game where you're able to look for these fights. And Baron minions, yeah, sure, they're strong, but they're not gonna do much in a full-on team fight.
Of course, you know, getting a team fight with the Baron minions around really doesn't really do much. The power of the Baron minions is the fact that it reduces magic damage, so it makes it tougher for the Rise as well as the Corki in the side lanes to split push. But like you said, you know, 5-5, Baron really doesn't mean all too much. Virtue coming in is gonna absorb the snowball.
No one's in the top lane here, so Rise just gets a free push. Seems that Opononi's content with just grouping as 5 here, not exactly the optimal play when you do have the Baron.
Lux is gonna be the sacrificial lamb as it were, sent back to defend the wave point being pushed in. There are only 3 casters and a single cannon minion, so this should be pretty simple for her to clean up.
Freeze frame here as... Oh.
Mid lane Siege coming in, and she used the final spark to clear the wave out, and no surprise there. Doesn't want to put herself in any form of risk. Meanwhile, 4 members strong in the mid lane for Opononi. They have to back off because the karma is extremely low, and the side lanes are still being pushed out. I'm not sure why they aren't playing a 1-3-1 to sort of respond to the split push. Instead, grouping up and getting almost nothing done in the mid lane.
Yeah, in the...
Oh, behind enemy lines here is Rotate. She's gonna get bound up, and oh my lord, using the stopwatch is a bit of a mistake there because there's nothing much you can do to sort of prolong your life there.
That's not how you play a 1-3-1. You're not supposed to end up in the enemy base. I have no idea what happened there, but something definitely went wrong for Rotate.
Yeah, Rotate overextending there is still gonna buy some space for a team to pick up the Inferno Dragon. Meanwhile, getting rooted up by the final chapter inside the jungle. Dragon is gonna go the way of the Silas, and now they have to disengage. The Sivir is getting caught out. He has to flash away. Good deal of damage still coming through from the enemies. Silas as well as Corki doing their fair share of return damage.
Yep, good ultimate from the Yuumi to keep Opononi at bay while they take the dragon, and good disengage on the hunt from Sivir actually being spent there to get this team out.
But remember, this is double Inferno Drake, and a good deal of free stats coming in here in terms of AP and AD from these 2 objectives being taken. If there's any composition that would have liked these dragons, it's this one, right? The double AD carry with a split pushing Rise.
Definitely accelerates the pace at which Lannister comes online, and at this point, honestly, if they look for a fight after the Baron, they should be able to win it.
Yeah, and Sivir at this current moment is at her 3-item spike. This is the point where Sivir becomes actually scary because her ricochets hurt so much when they bounce to you, even when you're the secondary targets, right? And Phantom Dancer does give her a good deal of security, and all in all, her wave clear is just immaculate. There's nothing much you can do if you want to force on them because she's going to be there just cleaning up the waves.
Yeah, actually we do see everyone on this team really has really good wave here, except for maybe the Yuumi and the Silas.
Right.
That's why they're able to play this 1-3-1 so effectively, but we do see Lux trying to go for a flank instead of just going to clear out a ward.
Yeah, clearing out the ward. I think they still want the top outer turret right now. There is no Baron buff available for Opononi, as you mentioned, but they should be able to claim this objective for themselves. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Rotate now shoving in and pressuring out the bottom lane.
Doesn't seem like Opononi wants to answer that as they catch out the Silas.
Once more into the fray is this Nunu. She's already found the Silas off the back. They're probably going to pick this one up. The sacrificial lamb is going to be slaughtered.
The base though.
The base is open up though. Here you go. The Sivir in the mid lane. The Rise in the bot lane. The recalls are coming in. They have to delay the recalls. Clean it up. Alright. The missiles landing does mean that Lux is going to stay there for a second longer, as the base is getting ripped apart to shreds by the Rise as well as the Sivir. Oh, another dirty missile is going to stop the recalls, and now they find 2 inhibitors. The fantastic play coming in. Keeping to her namesake, Rotate now clean up. Then one more missile. Oh no! This is a disaster! They're cleaning up the base. Rotate now doing her job as the top laner of this team, now pressuring down, finding the Nexus hurts. The ladies from the side of Opononi cannot get back in time, and so much damage from Rotate. If she flashes forward, she might be able to pick it, but no summon spell available just yet, and she get the solo kill. The shutdown onto the Varus, and this might just be the game as they're still delaying the recalls. No, the Nexus now open. They find the Corki, but at what cost? At what cost, ladies? The Lannisters collect their debts and look for the Nexus as they clean up this game and advance into the semifinals.
Opononi, what are you doing? We have to keep in mind, Lannisters did not win that game of their own merit. Sure, they did play the macro game pretty well, but there is no way that Opononi shouldn't have allowed that to happen.
MVP in my books is gonna be Kirsty right there. The Corky
Yep.
with the missiles, delaying so many recalls and allowing the rest of our team to just walk in and take the base.
I mean, what can I even say after that? I have no idea why Opononi decided that was the perfect time to go group S5 at the top lane. When you see the Sivir and the Yuumi pushing the mid, when you see the Ryze pushing the bot lane, what were you thinking?
I'll tell you what, my man. With a top laner named Rotate, winning the game through that sort of play is almost expected, right?
Okay. Okay, sure.
Gotta give it to me.
Alright, yeah, I'll give it to you, sure.
Okay, for now, guys, we're gonna go for a short break. But when we come back, we will have either the lower bracket or the semi-finals coming up for you. But for now, stay tuned to the stream. We'll be right back.